welcome to episode 172 of the WaveBack Music Podcast. My name is Kris.
And I'm Matt.
And we're here to listen to the most interesting video game music there is. The Mega Man series, particularly on the NES, was known for a lot of things, and terrific soundtracks was without a doubt one of them. Following up a masterpiece like Mega Man 2 was no easy task, but the team at Capcom proved that they were more than up to the challenge when they delivered what some consider the single best game in the series. Fly off on your robot dog, because today we listen to the music of Mega Man 3. Well, hello there, Matt.
Hello there, Kris.
How you doing?
I'm all right. I'm hanging in there. You?
Yeah, same here. Same here. I guess we'll address this up front. This is not the WaveBack Awards, and it's not going to be the WaveBack Awards. After years of banging our heads against the wall to trying to make this work, it is just an extraordinary amount of work that I just don't think we're up to the task for these days. So we're just going to plow on forward and say, listen to video game music in new games. It's great stuff. But unfortunately, we're no longer capable of giving out awards in any sort of meaningful manner. So there you go. That's my that's our decision on that. So Matt picked Mega Man 3.
I did,
which is a wonderful pick. It just happens to be my favorite game in the Mega Man series. And I know others feel the same, but I know others feel very much not the same. But we'll talk about that in a little bit. Why don't we get right to the business, to the meat and potatoes, because we've got a lot of music to listen to. Matt.
Yes, sir.
Hit us with some history.
Certainly. Mega Man 3 was released on the NES in North America in November of 1990, only 2 months after its initial Japanese release as Rockman 3 in September of 1990. As a direct follow-up to the phenomenally successful Mega Man 2, Capcom somehow managed to take everything to the next level. Graphics were more detailed, music and sound was more robust, and the gameplay introduced several series staples like tighter controls, the slide maneuver, Rush the Robot Dog, and Mega Man's brother, Proto Man. The game's story centered around Dr. Light making nice with Dr. Wily in an effort to build an enormous peacekeeping robot called Gamma. In a twist of fate that literally anyone could see coming, Dr. Wily betrayed Dr. Light and stole Gamma to try and take over the world. Mega Man once again had to put a stop to his evil schemes. To do so, he had to face off against a fresh set of 8 brand new Robot Masters, rematches against the Robot Masters of Mega Man 2, and an all-new Wily Castle. The game is often revered as the best in the series right alongside Mega Man 2, and remains one of the best-selling entries. It's been ported to numerous systems over the years, and is now available on current-gen platforms as part of the Mega Man Legacy Collection.
The game's music was originally composed by Harumi Fujita, who was credited as Mrs. Tarumi. However, before she could finish the project, she had to leave to give birth to her children. Yasuki Fujita, I have no idea if those two are related, credited in the game as Bun Bun, took over and completed the soundtrack. Harumi's other works include Gargoyle's Quest, Tomba, and Streets of Rage 4, while Yasuaki's his work includes the likes of Final Fight, Breath of Fire, and Metal Slug First Mission. Blanket apologies to all humans who we have butchered their names.
Yeah.
So, Mats, what is your history of Mega Man 3? Why did you choose this game?
So I love the Mega Man I love the Mega Man French fries.
Mega Man French fries.
I want to cut that out, but now I want to tell the story about how the zoo near my house, where I live, used to make these animal-shaped French fries, and they were just so darn good. And then one day, like a year ago, I was thinking about them, and I looked up to see if there was a recipe, and I found them, and I want to make them so bad.
So
Anyway.
wow, that sounds awesome. But my question about Mega Man French fries.
Sorry.
Do they take on the powers of other French fries when they get near them?
I mean, I don't know, but we could find out.
Yes.
So Mega Man 3 was my choice because I'm a big fan of the franchise. I'm a huge fan of Mega Man 2. I grew up with the actual cartridge. I still have it to this day. One of my favorite Mega Man entries. I remember Part 3 coming out, and as always, it took me a while to get to it, but I remember really enjoying it. But I didn't get as much FaceTime with it, obviously, as I did Part 2 because I owned it. Part 3 was always kind of elusive to me. more recently, I'd say in the last couple years since the Legacy collections come out, it was available on Game Pass for quite a while. So I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna play all these. I'm gonna play through them all. It's gonna be great. And I played through 1 and I beat it, and I played through 2 and I beat it, and then I just stopped. I never got to 3. So a lot of this stuff is probably gonna be seemingly fresh to me. But
Oh.
yeah.
So I very distinctly remember when the first time I saw Mega Man 3. So I didn't have a Nintendo Power subscription when I was a kid. Some of my friends did, but I didn't get to read all the issues. I don't remember how I came into Mega Man 2. Can't remember if I borrowed it from a friend or if we rented it, but I remember Mega Man 2 was the first Mega Man game I played, and I was unbelievably in love with it. Just loved it to death. Then I remember my friend Steve, who I was in Cub Scouts with, he had the first Mega Man. And I was like, the original Mega Man. Oh, can I borrow this? And so I did, and I beat the heck out of that, and I loved it. It was no Mega Man 2, but it was still really good.
Mhm.
And I remember at the Shopping Bag, which was the grocery store near me, it was around November, December-ish, so it was right when the game first came out. I remember, every time my parents would go into the checkout line, I would run over and look at the video games they had for rent, because you used to be able to rent video games at the grocery store.
That's so
And I
awesome.
remember going over to that section, and I was just walked right over to the new releases, and I was like, there's a Mega Man 3? Grabbed the box, begged my parents, please, 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 let me rent this game right now. So I did. I went home. I put it in. That title screen music was like, I started it up, and I loved everything about the presentation. I went straight from Needleman stage and got my butt whooped. And I just have loved this game ever since. There's a big argument between me and Dan, my co-host on Stone Age Gamer, about which is the better game, because it is kind of like this rivalry between 2 and 3. Most people consider 2 the best game in the series, but a large swath of people like myself consider 3 the best. Not to take away from 2 in any way, but I feel that 3 does everything 2 does, but better. I like the music better. It's got more detailed graphics. I love the game's presentation. It is so fast. It is so slick. Like the way the little menu for your weapons just quick slides in from the bottom instead of, bringing up a separate screen on top. The Wily Castle doesn't make you sit there and wait it doesn't play an entire jingle and then lightning goes off. It plays the song and the lightning and the little line goes all at the same time. It's just such a fast and well-paced game. I love the Doc Robot stages where you get to go back and fight all the Mega Man 2 bosses. I freaking love this game. It's easily my favorite Mega Man game. That's my favorite song in the entire Mega Man franchise, possibly my favorite song on the entire NES. I love this game to itty bitty bits. So let's get started, shall we?
Yes, please.
Excuse me. I've been sick for a couple of days, so I apologize if my voice is a little crunchy today. All right. So we started the episode with the stage select screen. Also, one of my favorite stage select themes in all of the Mega Man series. It's a great tune. And the only reason I went with that to kick off the episode instead of the title is because I absolutely had to listen to this amazing title screen music on the show because it is such a cool tune. And again, not to take anything away from Mega Man 2's, but if I had to pick between 2's title and 3's title, I would pick this one. There's a reason that this is... when they did the vinyl soundtracks for Mega Man, they bundled 2 and 3 together. Like, it's because they're both that freaking good. I freaking love this title screen music. Let's give it a listen. Enjoy. right, that was the title theme from Mega Man 3. How'd that one grab you?
So like I said, I'm such a huge fan of the franchise. I think one of the things I love the most about the franchise is, in fact, the music. But more specifically, it's the energy that the music gives. And this song is no shortage of that. I love the dynamic of the beginning with like this quiet, reserved, you can almost see it as a movie, Mega Man, Rockman sitting contemplating like what's just happened, shaking his head, and then he's, well, call to action, and he gets up and he, dashes off into the ether to fight, Dr. Wily once again. It's such a great energy, and I love the orchestration. I love the sound choices. I love the NES soundboard, like, period. If I were a better musician, I would love to create using that soundboard. So
So I agree with everything you said. I flippin' love this song. I love the dynamic of it. It starts off so like mysterious, and then it just gets action, crazy, heavy. It sounds so full. They made this sound so incredibly full with the limited capabilities of the NES. And you're right. The Mega Man soundtracks are easily some of the best things about the franchise, and I love all the Mega Man games. I've played through them all the mainline original series. I don't want to say mainline because there's so many different Mega Man series now. I haven't played all the Star Force games and stuff, but the regular traditional Mega Man games, I've played through all of them back to front multiple times. This what a great way to start the game. What a great way to start the game. Followed up by our next track, which is similar to Mega Man X, another one of my absolute favorite Mega Man soundtracks. The password music is just super cheerful. It sticks out like a sore thumb. It's more so in Mega Man X because Mega Man X is on Super Nintendo and everything's all electric guitars, and the password music is this just dainty, joyous little tune. This jaunty little tune here, the password music, is flippin' wonderful. I love this song so much, and it does stick out like a sore thumb on the soundtrack, and I don't care. Here's the password music from Mega Man 3. Enjoy. I just love it. It's such a good tune.
It really is jaunty.
It is a wonderful, jaunty little tune. It's the little harmonies they got working in that are so perfect. It is such a beautiful piece of music that makes no tonal sense in this game at all.
But I like it. I like it because it's like a Monty Python thing where it's like, now here's something completely different.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a real left turn. If you were a fan of Brental Floss from the old YouTube days, the What If This Song Had Lyrics, he does a rousingly interesting rendition of this song.
I'll have to give that a listen.
It is extremely not safe for work, but it is one of my favorites. Speaking of my favorites, this next track, I put these tracks in the order of how I fight the Robot Masters.
Mm-hmm.
And this next one here is, it's my favorite Robot Master, it's my favorite stage, and it is my favorite Mega Man song. Possibly my favorite song on the entirety of the NES library.
Wow.
I adore this song with every shred of my being. I think it's one of the most perfect songs to ever come out of an NES. And it gets so tragically overlooked because it's not badass like a lot of the other Mega Man tunes. Mm-hmm. But it is such a wonderfully gorgeous song that I think is so brilliantly pieced together. Like all of the different pieces of it come together in such a magical way that utilize every ounce of what the system can do as far as making music sound full. I just think it's a masterpiece. I can't say enough good things about it. This is the music for Magnet Man stage, where I always start in my Mega Man 3 runs. Enjoy. Glorious Magnet Man stage for Mega Man 3. That song just makes that system sing. It is so the little tiny vibratos they put in the parts of it that are basically singing the main melody. The way it just tricks you into making it sound like there are so many more instruments playing at the same time with the ridiculously well thought out syncopation of all the notes. It is. I just think it's an unreasonably good song, and it's so freaking pleasant. This stage itself is. I think Magnet Man is such a cool, opposite for Mega Man. I just love the idea of him. And the stage, I love the colors in this stage. Everything's this stark silver metal set against this gorgeous like evening sky backdrop, and it's got these magnet like flying helicopter magnet things that'll fly across the top of the screen and just like suck you up off the ground towards them. It's got the stinking like blocks that everyone dreads in Mega Man games, but they're not put in like pull your hair out kind of positions. They're like reasonable and actually kind of fun to figure out. It's got the giant head thing that's on a spring. I don't even know what that thing is called. And the Magnet Man boss battle is just super fun. It's a really it reminds me a lot of like the Metal Man one from Mega Man 2, except I think it's a little bit more interestingly intense. And if you really know your stuff, you can really get through that battle through your regular Mega Buster very well, with sliding underneath him when he jumps towards you, and avoiding his magnet missiles, which is a super cool weapon. And he does this move where he like pulls you in with his magnet power. Like it's just a fun battle and a magnificent stage, and the music fits it so perfectly. Even though it's like kind of peaceful and fun and more happy, that's not outside of character for Mega Man games. Like Crash Man stage in Mega Man 2 is a perfect example. This is kind of this game's take on that kind of a stage with that kind of music. I think it just works brilliantly.
So I do actually kind of remember a bit of the Magnet Man stuff. As you're talking about it, it's kind of coming back to me. I know Magnet Man very well. I've I get bored from time to time, and I go down rabbit holes. And at some point, I thought it'd be cool to like write a Mega Man script or something. That's a whole other podcast for another podcast. But yeah, Magnet Man, yeah. This music is awesome. It's deceptive, right? Because I talk about this, or how I think about this game is like it's this action platformer, and it's always intense, and things are moving quick. The game can be intense only the way a game like Mega Man can be intense for like a 9-year-old, a 10-year-old. Like I remember being a kid and playing some of these games and thinking like, oh my God. And now I'm playing Apex Legends, and people are like, dude, how do you play that? It's so dizzying. I can't. And I'm like, oh, I see everything. It's fine. But to be like 9 or 10 and the whole package, right? The music, the graphics, the gameplay. But this song is, like you said, it's a little more chill. It's a little more laid back. It's not as badass as you put it as some of the other music that's come before it and ahead of it. But it is a great track. It's beautiful. It's got a great dynamic. The use of reverb, as you said, the syncopation, it gives it such a fuller sound, which is always so impressive. I'm a fan.
Well, I'm glad you didn't hate it.
I don't.
I mean, it's your pick. It would be weird if you didn't.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Oh boy, yeah, I love that song. Clearly, but we must move on. We must move on to Hard Man. Quite a name. You know what? While I'm thinking about this just popped into my head. What's Bubble Man's weapon in Mega Man 2?
It's like a lead bubble.
Right?
Yeah.
Bubble lead. So Jeremy Parrish, who is a video game historian and one of my online heroes, he does his Video Works series, and he posted a giant video about Mega Man 2 yesterday.
Okay.
And he was pronouncing the weapon as Bubble Lead, which never in my life occurred to me that it's possible that was how you would say that. Bubble Lead instead of Bubble Lead. So I asked about it. I posted a comment on the the Patreon page where it was posted, and somebody responded with something that I thought was very interesting.
Okay.
He said, in the original Japanese, the katakana romanizes as Baburu Raido, and so lead as in leader would probably be the intended meaning. I guess because it rolls ahead of Mega Man? When modern Japanese borrows English words and phrases, it often uses them in an idiosyncratic way. So, yeah, Baburu Rido is how it is romanized in the original Japanese katakana. Bubble lead. I've never heard it referred to as bubble lead in my entire life. If anyone I've ever talked to, everyone always thought it was bubble lead. Probably because Mega Man turns gray when he uses it. Never once considered bubble lead.
I also felt because when you shoot it, it goes forward and then drops. Like gravity.
Lead.
Yeah, like gravity takes its toll on it.
Yeah, but it also just rolls along in front of you.
Also true.
It's leading. So I don't know. I'm very curious. I guess I don't know that I'm going to change the way I pronounce it from now on because it's been bubble lead my entire life. But bubble lead does make a degree of sense.
Oh,
totally changed my.
Oh,
changed my
you
life.
internet.
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
Anyway, Hard Man. I don't get this character at all.
Nah.
He's a cool design. I don't know why he's called Hard Man. He's not very hard. He has a hard knuckle, which is his weapon, which is like a fist that flies around. I don't know. I feel like they could have named him something other than Hard Man, but you know what? He's got great stage music because he's in Mega Man 3 and all the stage music rules. So here is Hard Man stage from Mega Man 3. Well, that's Hard Man stage. How did you feel about that?
It reminds me so much of the early 90s freestyle that was happening in New York and like the house that was kind of born out of it too. But definitely 90s freestyle with that. Dun, 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 dun. You know, like if you're familiar with that style and genre of music, you know exactly what I'm talking about, but I can't explain it. It's a lot of fun though. It maintains that level of energy I was talking about earlier, where Mega Man is always, 1,000 miles per hour, even for something as simple as the NES. It's a very. I was joking in my head when I was listening to the title track, and I said to myself, I wonder what Blade Runner would have been like with this theme song. just because like Blade Runner was one of the those movies that had a synthesized soundtrack, one of the first few ones. But yeah, good energy, good all around. It's fun. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, much like Magnet Man stage, I forgot to mention. I mean, if you've listened to the show, you know one of my favorite things is when they go with higher notes on the bass, and this song does that a lot. Same as Magnet Man. I love it when the bass line gets higher pitched out of nowhere. It just kind of adds a really interesting flavor to it. This song has a really, really interesting bass line.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so tied to the visuals of this stage for me. Like the drum sound in particular is very like crunchy, and Hard Man is all about breaking rocks. So it's neat. I'm a fan.
Yeah.
So moving on, one of the Robot Masters this is one of the first Robot Masters I ever looked at and said, why on earth was this Robot Master created? This is Top Man stage. I don't know why you make a Robot Master out of a top. I didn't understand what it was either. Like, Top Man, like he's the best? Not until the very end of the stage when I saw the giant spinning tops. I was like, oh, Top Man.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Even as a kid, like, wait, why? He's a neat boss. I think he's a really neat boss. He's got a stupid weapon. Top spin is ridiculous, but he's a neat boss. He's a neat boss fight who spins around. He's invincible, and he throws the giant tops at you and stuff. It's all very interesting. It's a really cool stage that, again, is really bizarre. It takes place in a greenhouse, sort of like a techno greenhouse with all these like robotic bugs everywhere. It's such a weird stage. I love it. And this song is fan-freaking-tastic. Top Man stage for Mega Man 3. Freaking love that song. It is such good energy to it. Love it.
Oh, no question.
Such a good energy.
Yeah. I mean, I'm probably going to end up just saying that about everything else that comes after this. It's just a great energy. You just have this great pacing and tempo, and it pushes through with the game. It pushes you through. It's so well done. And I liked this one a lot, actually. The main melody was really good. The thumping bass line, as best as an NES can make a thumping bass line, but it's great, great song.
Yeah, it's such a guitar centric song, like the way it's composed. The that main, like, while the one note is constant and the other one's like like, then the bass note, I guess, that accompanies it just stays constant. It's such a guitar centric sound. It's so wonderful. It's again really weird stage, and it took me a long time to even figure out what the stage was when I was a kid. It's like solar panels in the background. There's like a giant cat that barfs up hairballs at you and then shoots robotic fleas out of its back. Like,
oh well, that's fun.
This is so weird. It's so weird. I love it. It's a wonderfully bizarre stage, and when you go back to it, and it's got all the glass is shattered in different places, and there's spikes growing out of the plants. It's so cool. It's so cool. I love this game. All right, next stage. We're going to move on to Shadow Man stage, another stage that makes not a whole ton of sense because Shadow Man is a ninja boss, and his stage is like lava themed. I don't know where he's supposed to be. There's like just fountains of lava, like waterfalls of lava everywhere.
Fountains of Lava, isn't that one of your favorite bands?
Yeah, Fountains of Lava. They had based out of New Jersey and named after a lava store in Wayne, New Jersey.
Yeah, that's wild.
Sorry, Lava, New Jersey.
Lava, New Jersey.
No.
It's a throwback to a whole other podcast.
Huzzah. Yeah, so Shadow Man, he's a really hard robot master to beat without his weakness, which is topspin. He's a really cool design. He's a ninja who just has like giant throwing stars, and he bounces all over the place, and he can slide kick you. Like, he's an awesome boss, and the stage is really freaking cool. It just I don't understand what it's supposed to be, and I don't really care, because there's points where the lights go out, and you have to you can use magnet missile to shoot these things that show up at the top of the screen that basically make the lights go out. They're like reverse light bulbs almost.
Okay.
And then once you blow them up, the lights come back on. This is another stage that's really tough when you come back to it for the Doc Robot stages later in the game. But yeah, Shadow Man stage, very cool tune. Let's give it a listen. Enjoy. It's a weird song.
I loved it.
I love it, but it's so weird. It gets like so weirdly happy at the end there for a minute. It's like, yeah, let's go have a good time. Oh yeah, right, ninjas. It's such a weird song. I just love it.
Oh right, ninjas.
But like, there's no ninjas in the stage. There's these weird like faces with parachutes and these like grasshopper looking things that look like vacuum cleaners. Like, this is a weird game and weird stage, but it works. It's so good. It's so fun.
I have nothing more to add. It's a great song. I loved the low bass line here. I thought it was like a funk, not funky, but I thought it was like a quirky. I think quirky is the word. Little tune that's like, like real understated, and then then you get these like trills, these like running lines of melody. Like, what? It's really well done. That was a good one. I really like that one too.
Yeah, again, great energy.
Great energy.
But you want to talk about energy? This is another one of my favorite tracks from this game. This is Sparkman stage. I freaking love this stage so much. It is themed so brilliantly, where it's got all these like, you're in some sort of disposal facility, but there's this electric current running through everything, and all the enemies are electric themed and stuff. Sparkman is a super cool design. This song kicks all of the ass. It is such an amazingly awesome song. I love this tune to death. Here is Sparkman stage for Mega Man 3. It's not long enough, We should loop it 10 times, but no,
Mm.
it's short, but it doesn't matter. It's so good. Here's Sparkman Stage. Enjoy.
Yeah.
Ah, it's so good.
Yeah,
It's so good.
I wanted it to go on a little longer.
Oh my god, and it does because the stage is nice and long. But oh my god, that part where the high note kind of comes in and just like kind of sings in the background on it.
Hmm.
Oh my god. But the that deep like snare drum, but sounds like a deep tom hit. That's like that doom doom throughout the whole song. Just it's such a driving tune with such a crazy energy to it. It is such a good song. There's a really good mix of it in Smash Brothers,
Mhm.
but they changed one of the bass notes that drives me crazy because it's still awesome, but it's different. So, but outside of that, oh my god, this song is so good, so good.
I cannot follow that up. You said it all though. Just another amazing driving song from an amazing soundtrack. The orchestration, the sound choice, the tonal qualities, everything about it, the mixing, it's fantastic. These are just great songs that hold up, some 30 years later.
Yeah,
Yeah.
amazing stuff.
Yeah.
And it just the fun doesn't stop because here is another top freaking tier song. This is another one of those Robot Masters you look at it and say like, well, this is weird, but I'm into this. This is my kind of weird. This is Snake Man stage, and his stage is just made out of robot snakes,
Like you do.
like you do. It's there is no rational reason for this. Like if you try to think about the logistics of this game beyond just absolute face value, it all falls apart. And it doesn't matter because this stage is so freaking cool. And Snake Man is one of those enemies that's like, he's a boss that once you figure out his pattern, he's super easy. But before you do, he seems like super daunting.
Mhm.
But yeah, Snake Man stage, awesome song. Let's give it a listen. Here you go. There you go. Snake Man stage.
So I love
Mm.
the Mega Man soundtrack solely based on that lead, how they've managed to create a great reverb for it to exist inside of. That that has such a great reverb on it that gives it such like a space to exist inside of. It just sounds so great, especially again for the NES soundboard, but it makes it sound so big and it's just so great. I love it so much because that exists in other Mega Man tunes and it always makes it feel bigger than it actually is. It's such a great like audio trick to create, like a larger 3D, not 3D, but a larger space than your little TV speaker can, ever control. But oh wow, it's so cool.
Yeah. I also love just as a quick little aside for Mega Man 7, the often maligned Mega Man 7, which gets way worse of a reputation than it deserves. There's the Robot Museum stage, and part of the music from that stage has a reprisal of this theme in it, which is so good.
Oh, that's dope.
Ah, so good. Anyway, all right, let's move on to Gemini Man stage. Another character I didn't really understand as a kid because I didn't know anything about astrological signs. But
Like you do.
Gemini Man's a neat looking boss. It's incredibly weird stage. The stage is everything. You go underground. There's rocks that are all changing colors, and there's these like eggs all over the place that explode into a bunch of floaty tadpole robots. There's penguins with like big gears on their heads that shoot little penguins. It is an incredibly bizarre stage, probably the weirdest in the whole game. And you know what? It's fine because it's awesome. It's just awesome. There's water. You can jump in the water. I don't know. And then Gemini Man's there, and there's two of them. So anyway, this is Gemini Man stage. Great song. Enjoy. Oh, I love that one. I love the way it ends right before the loop. Just how everything gets like slightly more staccato. It's just like, oh yeah, so good. Love that song.
It I I keep saying it. I keep saying it. It's just a high energy soundtrack for just a great game. I mean, I'm just repeating myself now. That's another great one where the bass and it's like that kind of
Yeah,
it's
it's almost got like a Latin feel to it, you know.
in a different tempo. It totally could.
Oh, you know why I'm hearing that? Because there's a version of this song that was in one of the Mega Man arcade fighting games
Hmm.
that slows it down, and it sounds very Latin.
Ah,
That I guess that's why it pops into my head. But maybe that's why it pops into my head. But that's really what the bass line reminds me of.
I mean, again, but I think with the right tempo, it could totally do that. So I definitely hear it with you. Fantastic song.
Where the heck is my playlist? There you are. All right, so we got one Robot Master left. It was the first Robot Master I tried to beat in this game, and he kicked my butt. This is Needleman stage, which is another interesting stage. I still don't really know what the stage itself is supposed to be, but it is very needle themed. There's like hedgehogs that roll around that are all like covered in needles and then shoot needles at you. There's giant needles that come out of the floors and the ceilings. There is a surprisingly small amount, if any. I can't think of any instant death spike traps, which you'd think would be all over Needleman stage.
You're right.
Also, Needleman, similar to Metal Man and Mega Man 2, if you just stand there, he won't do anything. Eventually, like after like 15 or 20 seconds, he'll start attacking. But if you get to the boss room, you can just stand there and don't touch a thing, and he will just stare at you.
That's wild.
It's amazing. But yeah, here's Needleman stage from Mega Man 3. Enjoy. Go Needleman stage,
another banger. I just can't keep. I'm running out of words to to describe how good this soundtrack is. Oh man,
yeah, it's out of control. The intro to this one in particular, right? That whole intro sequence is like, it's freaking marvelous. Just the way it builds, the percussion is like all over the map. It's fan freaking tastic.
Oh, no question. Just another great composition. The team over there, like, banging on all cylinders, man.
Yup. All right, now we get the boss music. I love. We all know we're fans, big fans of good boss music here at the WaveBack podcast, and this is, as the kids say, as the Matt said, a banger.
Yeah, buddy.
It's exactly how you would explain this song. This is a killer track. I friggin' love this boss music, and yet it is not my favorite boss music in this game. Here is the standard boss music from Mega Man 3. Enjoy.
good.
Yep.
That's good. I just
Good doesn't even cover it.
it just move on to the next one. Like, come on, man. This is just our talking is getting in the way of listening to really great music.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's so good. It's the intro for it is so great. Like it just has this like alarms going off kind of sound to it, but it's just more obviously more melodic than an alarm going off.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, it's great.
No, but
Great.
I love when music does that and they attempt to invoke or allude to something else that heightens the situation. You watch a film and maybe it's a tense moment and they'll tie in like a clock ticking or something into the music or allude to a
Hmm.
clock tick. It's just great. It's great stuff. So for them to put like an alarm kind of sound going off at the beginning, if you're a savvy player or you're paying attention, you already know like, oh snap, okay, some big's gonna go down now, and then boom, you hit with a boss fight, and oh okay, I get it now. Cool, cool, cool. It's great. It's just intelligence on the creative team. You know what I mean? To sit back and push for these little, what some people might call innocuous things, but clearly it's not. It's so much bigger than that.
Yeah, that's we keep talking about energy, but again, this is boss music, and you really, really, really need to nail the energy in
Mm-hmm.
something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And they did 100%. Hundo P,
Hundo
as the kids
P.
as the kids say. And if you win a boss battle, it follows you up with this wonderful song. This is a quick one. This is the Get a Weapon theme, where a giant, awesome-looking Mega Man changes colors and shows you what weapon you get. Here is Get a Weapon. Enjoy. Short song, not much to it, but I love it.
That really
It's very
felt.
dour, you know?
I guess I could see that. That felt like it could have been a level to me. And they put it just for something as simple as getting a weapon. I really felt like that could have been part of a level music.
Yeah, if they expanded on it, I could see that. I could see that being a part of a level stage. It's I don't know what to say about it. It has a very like serious tone to it.
Yeah.
It is not a playful song at all.
No.
And yet it is the song. It's in the same game as that password music, you know. I really like this. Why I felt moved to include it here in the episode. Yeah, it's good music and very memorable music, because I just remember finally beating Robot Master in this game and just feeling so proud of myself for finally doing it. And then we see that giant image of Mega Man show up and then slide over and change colors, and you got Magnet Missile. It's like so freaking cool. It's good stuff. Okay, this next one's a bit of a treat, because if you've never listened to the Mega Man 3 soundtrack, you have probably never heard this before. At least not the whole thing. One of my favorite things about Mega Man 3, I mentioned at the top of the episode, is how fast-paced it is, and it doesn't make you sit around and wait for things to happen. The Wily Castle stages in every Mega Man game except this one, they always do the same thing. It's a picture of the castle, we're going to play an entire song, and then when the song stops, lightning's going to flash, and we're going to draw a line to the next stage in the progression of the Wily Castle stages. This one does it all at the same time. And so in the game, you never get to hear there's actually a full song attached to that music that you hear.
Mhm.
You just hear the beginning of it. So here is, for anybody who has never listened to the soundtracks away from the game, the full version of the Dr. Wily stage map theme. Enjoy. Ta-da.
That was really good. It was so I'm upset it's so short, but that was really, really good.
Now imagine just staring at a static screen while having to listen to that entire song before it stops and then draws a line and then you start a game.
All right.
It's a great little tune. I'm really glad that it works the way that it does, though. It's a shame you never get to hear that back half of it because all you hear in the game is the do 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 do. It never goes past that part. So the part where the drums actually kick in, you never get to hear that in the game, which is kind of a shame. But I do appreciate how fast it moves in the game itself. But now we get to move on to some serious business. Now, the pantheon of Mega Man songs. The Dr. Wily stage theme from Mega Man 2 is one of the all-time greatest. Right? That's the Mega Man song. However, I would argue that on the whole, the Mega Man 3 Wily stage songs are better. I know that's crazy talk, but the first Wily stage in Mega Man 2, that song, all time. The other ones, take or leave. Couldn't really care less. All three of the Wily stage themes. That's right. There's 3 different Wily stage themes in this one. All 3 of them are next level of freaking amazing. And I think especially this first one. Here is Dr. Wily stage 1 theme. It's freaking incredible. Enjoy. Okay. That's a great song. The one I was thinking of is the next one. I got it backwards in my head. I am sorry.
So then
That is an amazing song, though.
yes, no, it's absolutely a great song. I was gonna say, like, you're crazy if you're about to say something otherwise.
No. I don't think that's the one that tops, or at least is on par with that unbelievably classic Wily stage from Mega Man 2. I think it's the next one. So I got it mixed up in my head. I apologize to the universe for my misdeeds. But yes, that song is so good, and it is such a tonal shift from the rest of the game, and it continues with all the Wily stages. The tonal shift is like, all right, now we're in serious business, and the stages are very dour looking too. Like it is a wonderful and interesting tonal shift for the game. I think this song is great. What do you think? Talk to me.
Oh, it's Dr. Wily stage music. They're never bad, honestly. Not at least not in my recollection and memory. I'm sure there's one or two out there that are like, real clunkers. But when you have a franchise as wide as this, like, it's bound to happen. Long enough timeline, rule of probability. Anyway, It's great. I loved it. I love when they do the note bends. Do, 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 you know,
Yeah.
it makes me think of like one of the first bands I was in. We wanted to have like an electronic element, and the guy had a keyboard and it has the modulation and the pitch bending wheel. And it's so funny. But it's great. It's a really great song. Another great song, and just massive soundtrack of greatness.
Yes, indeed. And it's going to get a lot better right the heck now. This is the Dr. Wily Stage 2 theme. Again, continuing that tonal shift, but upping the intensity a bit. And this one, the harmonies in this song are just, this is such a masterful piece of music. I freaking love this tune. Dr. Wily Stage 2, enjoy. I friggin' adore that song.
I get it. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a really good
That
one.
song's out of control.
Yeah.
Just makes you sit up and say, what am I been doing in my life? I can't write something like this. I can't do this.
No.
How dare you? Just make me feel bad about myself.
I could do that pretty well on my own. I didn't need the soundtrack to aid me in that.
Nah, man, I friggin' adore that song. I think it's such a cool song.
Oh,
I don't even know what else to say about it. It's such a, it just feels so desperate.
Well, I can hear that.
Yeah, it's, love it.
No, I mean, there's not a ton to say about it, right? Because we just keep kind of going in circles about the same compliments, the same, observations. It's just a great soundtrack. Every song like better than the last.
Mm-hmm.
So good.
Well, we've got a few more. We've got a few left. In fact, we've got 2 left. We've got Wily Stage 3 up next. This is where it's like, okay, now you're in real trouble.
Mhm.
Now the fun is over. Now it's time to buckle down and get this done. There's a giant robot named Gamma that you need to beat. Let's get to work. Here's Dr. Wily Stage 3. Tell me your thoughts and feelings, Matt.
I love old video game music that has like a spooky horror, like attempt to scare you, put you on edge kind of theme. This is no shortage. The percussions in this song alone are worth the price of admission. Like, there's so much great stuff going on here. I would pop in and out of like the bass for a while. I was listening to that, thinking like, "Oh, that sounds perfect." Like sitting, doom, 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 and then the drums would switch, and I'd switch over the drums, and I'm hearing do the rolls, and then then I started to envision what a band would sound like doing it with the drums and the toms. And dun, 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 dun. It's so good. This might be my favorite song from this soundtrack.
There's just this sense of impending doom that
Oh
it
yeah,
nails so perfectly. Love
absolutely.
it to death. Love it to bits.
Love it to bits.
But then we get our last track of the evening. Our last track that we're going to listen to, and from Mega Man 3, before we send you off on your merry way, is just some of the best boss music ever made. Hands down, in my opinion, boss music rarely comes better than this, or even rarely comes as good as this. This is the Wily stage boss music, and it is freaking intense. I have been begging Banjo Guy Ollie to cover this song for years, and I don't know that he's ever going to do it because I cannot imagine making my fingers move this fast. This is a friggin' fantastic song. This is the Wily stage boss music. Enjoy. Crank it up and enjoy.
Boo, I want more.
I know. I want to listen. Oh my god, you'll get more. You play through Mega Man 3, you're gonna freaking get more because one of the bosses you have to fight to this music is the return of the Yellow Devil from the first game, and he is so freaking hard. And fighting the Yellow Devil to this music is some of the most intense stuff freaking ever. Oh my freaking god, I love that stage. Because I had played Mega Man 1 before this one. So when I got to that stage originally, and I go into this giant room, and I'm like, all right, nothing's here. What's going on? And those rocks start flying in from the side of the screen. I was like, oh no, not this guy again. And he's freaking huge. He looks incredible. And this music is so intense. It is unbelievable. They didn't even change it for the final Wily boss battle, and I didn't care because when you actually have to go and fight against Gamma, it's like it's still this music, and who cares? You're not going to top this. You're not going to top this song. It's just not going to happen. Oh my god, this song's ridiculous. And it's been they redid it in this the arcade games too, and like they didn't quite nail it. It's like a little bit faster and very electronic sounding, but like they didn't quite. The tempo in this one is absolutely pitch perfect. Like a little bit faster and it starts to sound messy. A little bit slower and you lose that intensity. This is such a meticulously spot the frick on song. All those scales going up and down. We're talking about things sounding like alarms. Like it just invokes all of those feelings of panic and intensity that are required to really, really tie a good boss battle together. And the boss battles in the Wily stages in this game are very good on the whole. Like there's this one where you're fighting these turtles that's not hard at all. And once you realize that you have Shadow Blade and you can just wipe them out. But before you figure that out, it's a pretty intense battle. But other than that, yeah, freaking amazing.
Yes. I know, absolutely. I mean, I love the intensity of it. I the whole time I talked about this soundtrack is about its intensity, about the energy it gives. This song is no shortage of that, especially fighting Wily as a boss. You need to step it up. And how do you step up a soundtrack that has been, bringing its A game the whole time? You bring your S game. That's a great song.
Well, there you go. That's it. That's our show. That was Mega Man 3, one of my all-time favorite games. Love it to itty-bitty bits. And one of my favorite soundtracks. Thank you for picking this one, Matt.
My pleasure.
So, as we wrap things up, I will say join us next time, where I will be picking, how do you follow up Mega Man 3, right? How do you follow this up with something completely different? I wanted to touch on one of my favorite PlayStation 1 soundtracks, and a ridiculously overlooked game. I want to listen to the soundtrack of Frogger.
Oh, okay.
There's a magnificent remake of Frogger on PlayStation 1 that kind of kicked off this thing in the early 2000s where they were kind of doing these fun remakes of retro arcade games. And that first Frogger game on PlayStation, I think, is absolutely wonderful. And it's tied together so much by its really, really surprisingly good soundtrack. So that's what we're going to be listening to next time. Frogger for PlayStation 1. And I guess technically PC as well.
I guess
I'm excited.
I mean, yeah, I don't think I played the game. I probably stayed the heck away from it, but I'm interested. I'm curious to see what comes of this.
I feel like a lot of people stayed away from it, and they probably shouldn't have, because it wasn't a shameless little cash-in. Its sequels were. There were a ton of sequels. Like, the game was really popular, and then they made a bunch of sequels to it that turned into some schlock. But that first one's just a really clever take on Frogger. You gotta love it. But anyway, there you go. We here at the WaveBack Podcast are incredibly grateful to everyone who listens, and we love communicating with you when we can. We have a couple of ways you can do that. There's the Geekade Discord channel, in which we have a WaveBack chat, where we frequently discuss all manner of stuff related to video game music and whatever our next episodes are going to be. Of course, you can always still send us an email at mail@geekade.com. And while you're at it, check out all our social media channels, which you should totally follow, like, and subscribe to if you haven't already. WaveBack and other Geekade podcasts are made possible thanks to the Geekade Patreon page. There, patrons can get access to a monthly podcast topic and recording schedule, get early access to most of Geekade's shows, including this one, and more. If you've enjoyed our podcast over the years, follow the link in description and give it a look. We really appreciate it. And finally, as always, be sure to check out all our other great content we have on our site over at geekade.com. Okay, then I guess that just leaves the track we're going to leave you with. Mega Man 3 had a couple of ending songs, but I thought I would leave you with the one I like better, which is the staff roll, which is a relatively common thing you'll get in Mega Man games if you go throughout the series, are just really fun and somewhat jaunty final staff roll themes. And this is one of those. This is a really fun song, and I think it's a great way to move on with your day. So here's staff roll from Mega Man 3. Thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you next time for Frogger. Huzzah.